Sadie and I have some big plans for Fat Pig Farm.
It'd be fantastic to actually have people picking their own apples through here.
The dream is to transform it into a commercial venture that combines integrated farming and a full farm experience that will hopefully attract locals and tourists alike.
Wow.
What I think we should do is pick a date and say, let's have the grand opening, like the public opening of Fat Pig Farm.
So I think if we commit to beginning of November, and that gives us almost a year. I think it'd be fantastic.
Be great, wouldn't it?
My name is Matthew Evans. I used to be a food critic living in Sydney. Now, I'm a pig farmer in country Tasmania. We've just bought a new farm, Fat Pig Farm, and a new dream has surfaced. We want people to meet our animals and pick and taste our homegrown food. But that means one almighty makeover to deliver a farm-to-plate experience. From hobby farm to family business, how hard can it be? We've decided our first priority has to be the veggie patch. We need to get the soil right, and it needs to be flourishing in time for our big opening day, our Fat Pig Farm feast. And this could be just the spot. I reckon this is it. This is our new veggie garden. What I want to do here is integrated farming, which is getting the animals to do the work for us. Here I want to bring the pigs in, get them to trample the grass down, dig over the earth and do that other wonderful thing that pigs do, which is poo everywhere, fertilise the ground for our veggies. All over the property we can do integrated farming. We can bring cows, chooks, sheep, get them to eat down the grass, fertilise the ground and then prepare it for other things. And today, to learn more, Sadie and I are heading west to check out an established organic veggie farm. It's going to be a year of experimentation, and I'm hoping Peter de Vries can give us some tips on how best to set up our patch.
Look at the leeks.
Look at their leeks.
And the quality of the produce speaks for itself.
Hi, Matthew.
Peter, hi Matthew.
Nice to meet you. How are you going?
Sadie.
Sadie, how are you going?
Yeah,
Very
great.
well,
Thanks for
thank you.
this.
You're welcome.
What a stunning place. Isn't it? Garden from top to bottom. How much stuff are you growing in here? This is a full market garden?
It's mainly a summer garden and we usually do about 25 different lines out of here through the summer. Lots of salads and beans and potatoes, carrots, beets.
And some seriously good leeks by the look of
Yeah, the
those.
leeks are nice this year.
And it gives me confidence to see Peter's integrative practices include pigs.
Have you got time to give us a tour?
Yeah, sure, we can have a look around.
Peter utilises polytunnels, a plastic-lined greenhouse which protects the crop and extends the growing season by up to 4 months.
They're all at different stages at the moment. This one we had some lettuces in. We finished that last week and now we're running our chickens through here, clean out the weeds and the slugs and bugs and things.
So they do clean up and add fertility at the same time?
Well, they're doing a bit of manuring, eating a lot of grasses and things so that when we come through and do soil prep, there's not so much labour, involved. It used to be like that block over there between those two polytunnels.
Seriously?
Oh, wow.
So once they're finished in here, and we'll move them into
the
this
next tunnel.
other tunnel, yeah.
And the next.
Well, you save labour in there by having them spread manure and they've got some free food and then at the end you'll get some eggs. This is that perfect circle, isn't it?
We're joined by Peter's family to show off the jewel in their veggie crown,
As I can see.
a 40-metre hothouse.
It's a whole citrus orchard inside here.
Oh, it even smells warm in here.
Yes.
Amazingly, Peter is able to grow fruit and veg, which are completely exotic to Tassie.
Yeah.
What's that? Vietnamese mint? Smell it.
Yeah, it's a nice big bush.
And no. Lemongrass?
Lemongrass, yeah.
This is terrific.
Yeah, some nice clumps.
Grow lemongrass in Tasmania.
This is all our salad harvesting's done to harvest this week, salad mix out of here.
This is so inspiring to see what you can do with a polytunnel. So
Yeah.
I guess if we get ours built, so just sow whatever we can.
Yeah, I think a lot of it is just trial and error and you just seasonally it can work and sometimes it doesn't, but you've just got to...
Give it a go.
This has been a truly inspiring visit, which has convinced me that a polytunnel is the perfect solution for us.
All right, you take those because I'm driving.
And a box of the freshest veggies you'll ever taste
Thanks again, guys.
You're welcome.
is an added bonus.
See you guys. Bye.
It's a new day on Puggle, and the plan for our approach to integrative farming is becoming clearer. One day we'd like to run chooks in our polyhouse, But first we want to find out exactly which birds might be best.
I'm off to see Phil Evans. He's a heritage chook breeder. One of the things I've fallen in love with since I moved to the farm is the flavour of the old breeds of chooks. Most people probably aren't used to the flavour of those chooks. They're used to the relatively tender and by comparison bland meat that you get from most commercial chickens these days. I'd actually really love to get some commercial chicks and free range them here, see if they taste any different from free range chooks that you get in a shop. They might be bigger, different shape, who knows. And side-by-side tasting, that'd be perfect.
G'day, Philip. How are you?
Yeah.
Nice to see you.
Yep.
Phil breeds lots of varieties of heritage chickens,
Look at this, the Chook Mahal.
but he's keen to show off the famed light Sussex. And it's a chicken to be reckoned with. So much so that in these circles it's actually called the turkey of chickens.
They're the biggest, heaviest breed of all the breeds. Predominantly were bred for meat. Today they lay quite well.
Perfect for me.
Yeah.
And off something like that, I get a fairly big roast chook.
Well, you feel that one now, and he's not quite filled out yet.
And good meat.
Yep, really good meat, really good textured meat.
Sounds like this bird ticks all the boxes. Phil suggests I take two other breeds as well. The Aussie-bred Australorp
Heavy, doesn't feel as meaty, but feels heavy.
and the relatively short-statured Indian game.
Really quite a heavy bird, especially for the size, but rounder, much rounder. It's almost like having a ball in your hand.
Which gives me a varied stock to experiment with.
This is pretty exciting. It's my first collection of meat birds. I'm actually thrilled.
So this type of soil would tend to feed weeds.
So that's not good news then. Not if you want to grow something.
Correct.
It's great if you don't want to grow anything, you've got the perfect soil. Yeah.
Now to tackle our veggie patch, or at least figure out if our soil on the new farm is capable of raising more than just curly tails.
I've heard about this amazing lady who actually breeds up microbes to help put life back in your soil, help grow things. She's coming to check out the area that the pigs have turned over.
Letitia Ware is a microbiologist who specialises in soil ecology. She comes armed with a little device that will give me a good indication of what my soil is capable of producing.
There's a big responsibility on you because I spent a lot of money on this on this property, and I'm really hoping that you're going to tell me this is a great place to grow things, because if it's not, I'm buggered.
And it's all pretty simple. The harder you push, the further the spike should penetrate the soil.
So let's have a look at how far we go down for 150.
That's 150 pounds per square inch.
There we are.
So that's easy for the roots to go a centimetre or so, and after that they're really struggling. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we've actually done the wrong thing by putting the pigs on.
In this soil and probably in this environment, yes.
Maybe, yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Letitia reckons we should take a sample to analyse the microbe and nutrient content.
Stand on it, stand on it.
So after a quick dig and bagging,
Doesn't look like a lot be going on in that.
it's off to her home lab to get the dirt on my soil under the microscope. And it makes for fascinating viewing.
Yeah.
The very small dots in the background
Yeah.
are bacteria. We would be looking for flagellates or amoebas. They're the predators of bacteria that release their nutrient in the cycle. And we're not seeing them in this screen.
Which in layman's terms simply means
So this type of soil would tend to feed weeds, and those vegetables would likely suffer then from pests and disease.
So that's not good news then.
Not if we want to grow your winter vegetables.
Not if you want to grow something.
Correct.
It's great if you don't want to grow anything, you've got the perfect soil.
For comparison, Letitia shows me a healthy soil sample and the difference is obvious. It is bursting with busy microbes going about their business.
Most people think that your soil is full of plant food, and it's not. The organisms that make plant food is your soil microbes. That's their job.
That's their job.
Convert organic matter and inorganic minerals into
plant food.
available food.
See, it all makes sense now. Well, what we need to do is get some of these microbes into my soil.
Shall I take you down and show you where we're going to breed them up?
Yeah, I'd love to see that.
Let's go.
Letitia's microbe brewery is about a par 5 from her lab.
So growing your own golf course? Got your golf buggy?
Down here, billions of microbes are busy reproducing in a frothy soup.
So in here, the first
levels of a soil ecology to help re-establish that foundation of healthy soil.
And all the stuff we couldn't see in my soil, it's in here.
And hungry.
Tell you what, why don't we do a garden bed using your microbes and a garden bed without using microbes and see if there's any difference. We've seen the difference under the microscope, but I'd like to see the difference actually in the soil.
I have to tell you, I'm confident though. Because I know what these guys can do.
You know what you can, yeah, well, I've never seen it before, so let's give it a go.
Who would have thought a frothy cauldron may hold the answers to my soil problems? Deciding to get breeds of chickens to fatten at home has inspired me to find out something I've always wanted to know. Take a commercial free-range chick from the hatchery and let it loose here at Puggle. Let it be truly free to go wherever it wants. Would it be a different bird? The size?
Hey,
the taste?
look what I've got.
I picked up some commercial chicks to find out.
Oh, they're little chickens.
They're tiny, aren't they?
Aren't they amazing?
Fragile little things. Anyway,
Awesome.
I might go and pop them in the barn.
Okay.
And despite being your everyday commercial breed, this is no ordinary bird.
Here they are, the super chicken. These are the breed of chicken that whenever you go to a supermarket, pretty much whenever you buy a chicken in Australia, this is the breed that you're eating and variations on this. They're a super bird because they can go from the egg to the pot in 6 weeks. My old breeds, they take 12 to 18 weeks to get to that size. These guys get fed a thing called rocket fuel. They packed it full of protein and extra vitamins because these birds grow so quickly, physically, structurally, they can't keep up if they're just fed conventional food. What I'm trying to do with the timing is get these guys ready for the pot at the same time as the heritage breeds. Then we can do a direct comparison between the flavour of these, the flavour of a heritage breed, and maybe even pick up a supermarket chook to see if these ones taste any different to that. First thing though, better feed them.
And I've got just enough time to give them a generous serving before a tractor arrives to begin work on our veggie patch. This is where our hard toil on Fat Pig Farm begins, and although our soil isn't up to scratch, we turn a new leaf as of now. Our neighbour Marty is on hand with his disc plough to clear the paddock where the pigs have been turning our soil. It does most of the job, but the further clearing by hand is back-breaking work.
When was the last time we said, oh, that's the easy way, let's do it that way?
And 2 solid days of shovelling later, we've got garden beds ready for Letitia's microbe and manure magic.
So, this bed is the one Letitia's doing. We're doing a trial bed with Letitia's microbes, with all the mulch and manure and minerals. And over here, right next door, we're going to do our bed. See if there's any difference between this one that's inoculated with microbes and given the right conditions for them to thrive, and one just using pretty much the soil that's just here already.
With my good mates watching on, it's back to the shovels to dig down a few layers.
Oh, as much as you can get it down.
Onto Letitia's bed go a few shovel loads of compost,
We're going to mix it in.
a sprinkle of alpaca manure,
A couple of handfuls of that.
and a light dusting of minerals and crusher or volcanic dust.
That's enough.
Enough?
Yep.
A generous drench with Letitia's micro brew, and then make sure it's evenly mixed in. Repeat the process every metre 400 times.
I didn't put microbes on the top of that, did I?
Not yet.
And 6 hours later, we're ready for the mulch that'll hold the moisture in the beds and protect the microbes through the cold winter.
I'm pretty sure it was summer when we started.
The next day, we're planting our winter crop with a mixture of heritage seeds and established seedlings. And to my back's relief, I actually think we're done.
These are the 2 beds. We've got ours done the more conventional way, and Letitia's with all the microbes. Be about 3 months before we get any sort of harvest, and I can't wait to see the results.
And hopefully the veggies will arrive just in time for our chicken taste-off. With Carrie's help, my 3 breeds of heritage chook have been free-ranging nicely for 3 weeks now. But it's time to let the commercial breed chooks get a taste of the free life and my grasses.
Well, today's the day. Finally get them free-ranging, get them out of this shed.
And it's going to take a little feed to entice them out.
They're about 4 weeks old, a lot younger than we'd probably pop an older bird straight out like this, but these ones are growing so fast, they've got to be ready soon. They're hardly rushing out.
They're a little slow to get the drift,
One with some instinct.
but eventually they're all at it.
They're probably a little wary. It's all new and different out here for them.
And to my delight, Barely a week later, they're old hands at foraging for grubs.
This is such a relief to actually see them outside. At this age, if these chickens were living in an intensive farm, they'd probably be a bit bigger and be ready for the pot. What we're hoping to do now is that we can keep them alive for a few more weeks and get them to forage. So if we can keep them a bit longer, we're going to get more flavour out of them. It was a slow start, but it all seems to be going to plan. Enjoy the grass.
I just had a flash forward. This is like what it's going to be like in 40 years' time.
Hopefully you won't be the one feeding me.
There have been several trips to the hardware store this morning in preparation for our latest undertaking.
I got really inspired by seeing Peter's Polytunnel at the organic farm. In fact, so inspired, Sadie and I have decided to build a couple here. The idea, once we've harvested it all, is that we'll be able to bring the chickens through, same way Peter had, and we'll have a space between the polytunnels for the chickens as well that we can use as a garden bed in between times. How are you guys going?
Good.
Need a hand getting that on?
Yeah, I think so.
And I'm fortunate that my neighbours Phil and Adam are happy to lend a welcome hand.
Happy?
A few years ago, I couldn't tell one end of a star picket from the other.
8:40.
Now, every day on the land presents a different problem to solve and a new skill to learn.
This pipe's about 2 mils, slightly smaller than the other one.
I've made my fair share of mistakes, and the jack-of-all-trades suit is finally starting to fit.
Yeah, well, that's all we needed. Someone strong and a gumboot.
So much so that every new undertaking seems a little less daunting than the last. And sure enough, 8 hours later, we're in pretty good shape.
That looks fantastic.
A bit of battening down the hatches, and tunnel number 1 is ready for service. Sadie has a mix of heritage veggies to plant out. Protected by this simple shelter, our growing season will now last well into the winter months.
We're writing down what you're planting, is that the idea?
So green feast, sugar snap, and then massey.
Which in this part of the world is a huge reward for a day's work. As Carrie does her daily rounds, we've humanely dispatched our 3 breeds of heritage chook and our free-ranging commercial variety, which only leaves the plucking, one of Sadie's favourite pastimes.
Oh,
Hard
my
one.
friends could see me now.
Nothing glamorous about this, is there?
I don't know, you see the old pictures of the nonnas doing it, it all looks rather rustic. But when you actually do it, it's just gross. So which one do you think is going to be the yummiest?
Hopefully it's one of the ones we've had out free range.
And it's side by side where you can actually see the real differences.
This is the light Sussex, so this is an old meat bird. Fair amount of meat on those legs. Here we've got the Indian game bird. That's starting to look flatter breast, a bit closer to the commercial ones. Then you've got the Australorp. So of all the heritage breeds, I think that one's going to be maybe the least interesting to eat. These are the commercial breeds, so these are the same variety that you're going to be buying every time you go to a shop or a supermarket or a roast chicken joint. The difference with these is we've actually let them free range around here, and what you find is that just over here they've pecked the grass down.
You can actually see it's been eaten down almost like a bowling green.
All of that's going to hopefully make these birds taste different. What I'd love to do is take one of these birds and taste test it against the exact same breed but just grown intensively, bought from a supermarket, and see if there actually is any difference. Better grab a tray and get these into the fridge.
They'll sit in the fridge overnight, ready for their moment in the spotlight. The next day, Letitia returns to Fat Pig Farm, confident that her microbes have lived up to their formidable reputation.
Hello.
G'day, Matthew.
Welcome back.
Thank you very much.
Nice to
be
see you
here.
again.
And if I were a betting man, there'd be very short odds on her patch.
So have a look at that. This one, yours is all big and blousy. Ours is kind of smaller and more compact. There has been a noticeable difference. All right, let's harvest.
Letitia picks from my bed, and I pick from hers. And with a box each, it's time to compare veggies, up close and personal.
All right, what have we got?
And the differences couldn't be more stark.
Well, I think you must have swapped beds because this is what came out of my bed. No, there's a small difference there.
And as for the cabbages,
So So let me show you
cabbage.
yours from your other side.
So, yeah, it's quite a huge difference there. Plus, that's not snail damage, it's just been poked somehow. Here we go. Let's go and taste them.
I'm looking forward to it.
You know, we've got chicken to taste too.
What type?
4 types, reared for 2 different ways. So here's all the chickens. I've got the 3 heritage breeds and the 2 commercial ones. These all have to be cooked exactly the same way. So I've got my really good friend Maria coming over. She's going to supervise the cooking and then the tasting of them. She's also going to help with the veggies. We've got a whole mob coming for lunch. We want to do a taste test of those too. That sounds like Maria now.
Last year, Maria delighted me with her virtuoso display of rabbit stafado, accompanied by a little Debussy.
I goosed up. That was amazing.
But today, it's all about the bird. And to make the comparison fair, the plan is to roast them all simply with just butter, olive oil and a little water in the pan. The veggies too will be presented simply. And while they are cooking, Maria prepares a sauce, mushrooms in cream with sage, garlic and calvados.
Because there's a few of us and lots of chicken to eat, I've just chopping up mushrooms, use a little bit of garlic, roughly chopped.
And as well as butter and garlic, there's a surprise ingredient.
I came upon the apple because I thought of mushroom, brandy, garlic, calvados. I think put the apple in here now too.
So that just melts down to nothing.
Well, it will.
A bite of apple, a bite
Yes,
of mushroom.
I love it, I love
All right.
it.
A few minutes on the heat and it's time to add the star of the dish.
I love mushrooms, do you?
And then, possibly my favourite herb of all.
And sage is quite strong, so...
Yeah, a little more than a pinch.
It's not really a sauce, isn't it? People will be giggling.
It'll be sauce soon.
And a healthy dash of calvados will clear out the cobwebs.
So just putting that much.
Smell that now.
And also just letting that settle, a little bit of stock.
Preferably both duck and chicken.
Just adding a little bit of cream.
A gentle stir, and then it's tasting time.
Oh.
And I mean, you could put more stock in and really make that disintegrate a little bit more.
And Maria has timed it to perfection with the arrival of our guests, who'll be assisting in the taste test.
How you going? Welcome. Come on in.
Some last-minute chicken identification.
They're the veggies, and that's the 4 chickens.
And we're ready to roll.
Okay, everyone, are you ready? I've got this. I found some scarves upstairs, and I'm going to blindfold you.
The lights are dimmed to ensure we have no idea of which chicken we're tasting. First up, the commercial chooks, both of the same breed, but one from a shop and one we raised at home. And I'm dying to know if 6 weeks of free ranging has significantly changed our bird's flavour. Nick has kindly offered to steer the meat into my mouth.
I just had a flash forward. This is like what it's going to be like in 40 years' time.
Hopefully you won't be the one meeting me.
Letitia is happy to help herself, while Sadie has agreed to Maria's assistance. And with each chicken sampled, we're all a little in the dark. But now it's time to see the light.
Which do you think was which?
I thought the first one had more flavour.
I was expecting this explosion of flavour in the second one, but actually I think the first one was a little bit better.
You agree? I thought the first one was better flavour and better texture, certainly in the leg meat.
So pure flavour-wise for me, it was the first bird.
Yeah, so flavour, I'd go first bird. That's
unanimous.
interesting, unanimous.
It's unanimous.
Yeah.
The chicken that you all loved is the Matthew and Sadie,
thank God.
you know, taking...
What a relief. All that effort has paid off. Now for the veggies. Despite the size difference, my hunch is there's not going to be much in it flavour-wise.
That's it.
But after sampling a variety from both patches, once again, Letitia has proved me wrong.
I don't think the difference could be more stark,
Really?
to be honest. Yeah.
The first vegetables, take a guess. Who do you think they were grown by?
Letitia.
Letitia. It's
crazy.
unbelievable, the difference in flavour.
Really?
Oh, your cabbage was sweeter, yet more interesting. Everything had more complexity, everything had more flavour, everything had that yum factor.
The other thing that was different was the abundance. So the yield was much higher.
It's a compelling result, which only leaves our heritage chickens to sample. And not surprisingly, they've both left our commercial free-range and supermarket varieties in the shade.
Wow, I just had a little bit of the Indian runnerbird breast. It's so juicy and delicious. It's
So
just
intense.
full of flavour.
And texture. Chicken with texture.
What do you want?
There's something there when you kind of chew into it.
What a treat.
today is probably the reason that we farm. What an eye-opener. If we want to charge people to come to Fat Pig Farm and eat a feast there, then we need to give them food that's as good as we can possibly make it, have as much flavour as we can possibly get. And that means we need to free-range some heritage chooks, and we need to spend a lot more time preparing the garden beds to get the most out of them.
Which just leaves a word of thanks for our busy host.
Thank you so much, Maria. What an amazing spread you turned on. I'm going to invite you to come and cook lunch all the time.
Oh, look, I've had such a great time. Thanks for having me.
I probably should have told you we had a bunch of guests. And 5 chickens.
I venture across to Bruny Island to inspect a little red pig on wheels.
Mind your head on the door. Mind your head full stop.
And hatch a plan with Ross to fill the coffers.
Get your free-range hot dogs!
And put it to the test at Festivale.
I know I've got you into a few business things that don't make any money, but maybe this could have turned the corner.